that was a bit of a welcome. Yes, I'm Caroline. Lovely to see you all today. It's brilliant that you've come here and you've made the first step already to getting a really good career in the sector, because it's proactive people like you that we need. Just to go over who I am the Talent Acquisition Manager, which means I actually go out and speak to a lot of companies. So as Phil said, I'm engaging with those businesses and finding out what they're looking for in terms of employees. So I kind of know what they want. So if you listen to the tips that I give, then that will give you a head start in how to find a job in the sector. Another thing to mention is in the digital sector, we really love you tweeting. We love the fact that you use your technology. Please feel free to get out your phones, use the hashtag, I'm at @SuperMoriso, and really just embrace all of that new digital technology and media out there. So first of all, who's heard of Wired Sussex? Yeah, I'd like to think you all have because you're all here. What you might not know is we are a not-for-profit company and we represent 2,500 digital media and tech companies locally. So we're really at the heart of what's going on and we act as a hub for all of them. We have an online jobs board which you may have already looked at, and we run a host of events too, which is things that you can get involved in as well as the businesses getting involved in. As you can see up here, there's a lot of different things that we do, but primarily we're here to help our member companies innovate and grow. And that means finding the right people to do that as well. So that's part of what we deliver. Digital media is a bit of an ambiguous title, really. I mean, lots of things come under the topic of digital media. It's not just what you might think. There's video, for example. There is marketing. There is copywriting. There's so many different things to digital media that really just think outside the box a little bit, because take it that something will probably fit into the sector. Okay, so a lot of the businesses that work in our sector are business to business, which means they may not always be products that you might be aware of as consumers. However, the businesses in this sector really punch above their weight, and they have produced a lot of things that you may have already seen. For example, if you've ever used the app for Tesco's to scan products and buy your goods, then that was made in Brighton. Super Nanny came out of Brighton. There's the Olympics website, Olympics 2012. That was made in Brighton. And you might not hear about the people behind it, but they're really important top-punching things that come out of Brighton. One thing that you might be seeing with the recent World Cup is a tracking of whether or not Britain thinks England are likely to win or not. And Brandwatch are doing that. They're going to be monitoring the tweets, they're going to be monitoring all the social media out there, and they're going to be reporting back to all the newspapers exactly what people's opinions are on England winning or their chance of winning. So these cool things happen in Brighton, and they might be behind the scenes, but they're really out there as well. The game sector, for example, it's huge in Brighton. There's so many games companies out there. There's some big ones, there's small independent ones, and you might have seen some of these games. They're played by a lot of people all around the world. A lot of them were kind of top-ranking games, and the sector is huge, it's booming. Now, one thing that I want to get your heads around is that you might think, hang on a minute though, I'm not technical, how can I work in the game sector? Well, you've got to start thinking about what goes on to produce a game. There's people that do the technical side, there's people that do the graphics, but behind games there's also sound, there's vision, there's marketing, they need someone to run the office. So what I'd like you to do is to think about where your passions are, what areas you're interested in, and then look at where you might fit into that sector. So if you're really passionate about building apps, but you're not technical, it might be that you could work for an app development company and be their office manager. Start thinking about where your passions are and use that to direct you, and not try and fit into boxes, because in our sector we like individuals, we like creative people, and we don't necessarily want to pigeonhole you into certain things. Another example of some of the things that go on in the sector. Brighton has a lot of social media agencies that work for really big brands. So for example, you may see big brands on Twitter or on Facebook talking to their audiences. And what you might not realise is that it's quite hard to put across a nice voice and tone to those audiences and communities. So some of the agencies in Brighton take on these responsibilities, and they work for big brands like Barclays, who are quite dry. You'd think, you know, how can you have a nice voice if you work for a bank and you're trying to tweet with your customers? Well, some of the businesses in Brighton do just that, and they will go out and they will build communities and engage on behalf of these big brands. So it's another way of sort of seeing behind the scenes of what we do here. Another thing that I urge you to do is to use the Wired Sussex website, because there's a host of information on there. Our directory, for example, lists all of our member companies, and you can use that to find the businesses that you might be interested in. If you wanted to go into animation, you could pull up a list of businesses that work in animation and have a look at their websites from there and see what they do. It's much easier than just using Google to find it, because we're all collected together, localised, and we can really drill down that information for you. So do use the directory and be proactive about it. Follow the companies that you're really interested in and show why you're interested, and that's really key. Getting into digital, there's so many different ways of doing it. Unfortunately, jobs won't just come to you. You've got to really show an active participation in the sector. There's a lot of ways of doing that. Wired Sussex itself, it's got the Fuse Box, which is a collaborative workspace, and we also put on a lot of events there. These are all publicised on the Wired Sussex events calendar, and you can have a look and get involved in that way. There's also the Lighthouse, which you may have all know about. They put on a lot of exhibitions, talks, workshops, and a lot of them are public, so please get involved, because the employers that work in the sector go to these events, and they'll begin to know you, and they'll begin to chat to people, and being known in the sector and showing how passionate you are about being involved will make sure that you're head and shoulders above all the other job seekers out there. Another massive thing that I urge you to take part in is every September there's Brighton Digital Festival. It's a month-long programme of events. Last year there was over 160 events, all different kinds, celebrating digital culture. This could be anything from, say, a digital treasure hunt around Brighton, to big conferences, to simple get-togethers of animators that are showing their work. There's all different things, and the programme's really extensive and for all different ages and ranges. Digital sector is a really easy way of you getting involved, meeting other people, understanding a bit more. And I'm just going to play you a clip of the headline event from previous festival. There reason why I wanted to show you that example is because it was an event of creative technology and celebrating digital culture. And I want to show you that because you can carve a career out in all different types of ways. Who would have thought you could ever make money and a career out of putting something like that on? But really you can. So start thinking about where your passions are, what you're interested in, and I'm sure you could probably find a way of getting to where you want to be. Now, an event like that isn't just people that are technical that can set all of that up. There are people behind that that do the sound, there are people that do the digital marketing, there's event planners, there's all different types of skill sets that it takes to put on an event like that. So there's nothing to say that something that you have in terms of your skill set could work in an area like that. Whoops. Okay, just to outline a bit more about what sort of thing you can get involved in. There's so many community groups that are in the sector. And I mentioned the events calendar. Well, it lists all of them on there, and there's lots of people that get together that talk about things that they're interested in. For example, if you want to be a journalist or get into copywriting, there's loads of different write groups that you can join, and there's nothing to stop you doing that now, even if you're not got a job and working in the sector already, because what we're wanting to see is people that are actively taking part in things. Build Brighton, I don't know if anyone's heard of that. They've got their own studio, and it's basically a space for makers to get together and fiddle about with tech, fiddle about with robots, and come up with some really cool products and have fun, basically. That sort of thing. They have a whole program of events and meetups, and you can get involved now. There's nothing stopping you. If you're an animator, there's Bang, which is a collection of different animators that get together that show each other's work. They recommend each other. They work together on projects. Again, you can get involved with that now. When it comes to looking for a job, as I said before, work will not come to you anymore. Nor can you just rely on the traditional things like newspaper publications that are going to list the jobs. Actually, it can be said that only about 10% of jobs are ever advertised. That sounds mental, but it's true. A lot of people recruit via different means, so you have to get creative. Having said that, the Wired Sussex Jobs Board does really list pretty much all of the jobs that are advertised in the sector. We've got over 180 jobs listed at the moment, so please go on there and have a look. They're at all levels. If you're senior and wanting to progress, there's something for you, and you can get in on the entry level too. You can set up job alerts and screen down exactly the type of job that you're looking for so that you don't ever miss out on any opportunities. And you can also upload your CV on there so that people can actually find you. We've got an intern placement program, which I'll talk about later, but I'll also say that the universities and colleges have a lot of resources that you can really make use of. Sometimes they can be a bit hidden, but there's a wealth of information there, and they do a lot of workshops too. So just to reiterate, don't wait for the work to find you. Be proactive, do something different. What I would really love to see is that you're already thinking ahead of what sector you might like to work in and demonstrating that you're skilled or working up to work in that area. For example, if you want to be a copywriter and you apply for a job, as an employer, I would 100% expect that you've already got your blog up and running, or that you're already an active tweeter with a lot of followers, or that you're already commenting and building content into other mediums. Even if it's that you're some kind of football score guru or something like that, or you like knitting and you've got a blog about knitting, doesn't matter. You're showing that you've got an interest, you've gone one step ahead and you're writing already. You've got to go to networking events. It's good that you're all here because you're already networking, and you might not think of it as networking, but it is, and it's no reason to be scared about it. Everybody's got to start somewhere, so just by talking to people, even if they're your peers, it's going to really help you and open doors. Believe it or not, lots of people in this sector actually get work by just chatting in pubs. I mean, I've got work by those kind of channels before. So lots of inter-recommendations do occur. So networking, I cannot speak strongly more about. Follow trends. Make sure you're on Twitter. Make sure you've got a LinkedIn profile. And it might be that you have a different Twitter handle for your professional stuff and one for your kind of everyday mopes and gropes and things like that. So just start thinking about how you use Twitter. Follow the people that you're interested in, the companies that you're interested in, and they put out so many resources that you can really take advantage of. So once you're following those, reading the information, you'll get such a good grounding for getting that job when the time comes. Okay, this is a bit of a off-the-wall example, but I like it because it's an extreme of something really creative that landed Adam Pacitti hundreds of job offers. Has anyone seen this virus campaign? Yeah, quite a lot of you. Okay, so just to go over, this chap, he wanted to get a job in the media, Adam Pacitti. So what he did is he made a video about how he wanted to work in the media. It was all a bit tongue-in-cheek. It was all quite funny. He made a billboard about it. He put a lot of time and effort into it. But he did this all off his own back, and he thought, you know, no one's hiring me from getting into the media, so I'm going to go out there and prove that I can actually deliver something and produce something myself. This video went viral. It landed him interviews on all the breakfast shows. He got into all the national newspapers, and he got hundreds of job offers off the back of it. And it's just a really good example to show that by being creative and by being proactive, you can actually reap some rewards. So have a look if you've not already seen him. AdamPacitti.com is a cool, off-the-wall example there. There's a common conundrum when you're starting out that you need experience to gain the jobs that you're wanting to get into, but you can't actually get experience without getting the job itself. So how does that work? Well, a lot of people are going down the route of internships these days, and what they're hoping for is that it's going to open doors to get an actual job once they can prove that their skills are there and that you're a great person to hire. Internships are a fantastic way to get the foot in the door, and I really urge the fact that you open your minds and consider them, because although the wages aren't always brilliant at first, you might find that after 6 weeks of being on just a normal rate, you could leap into something really exciting, and it will just give that door open for you. So that leads me on to Wired Sussex's Intern Placement Programme. We launched this in March, and it's already going really strong. We're running it for another year, and we're going to be delivering 160 interns into really exciting companies throughout the sector. These positions are going to be for 6 weeks long, and the key thing is they're paid, and they're going to give you real working experience with real companies, and we're hoping that a lot of people at the end of this 6 weeks placement are going to get jobs as a result. Last time we ran an intern program, 70% of the people that we placed actually got work as a result, which is a huge probability of you finding your dream job. So please consider internships and the Wired Sussex Intern Placement Programme, because it really is a golden opportunity that's here now, and you should take advantage of it now. It's not always something that can be funded, so you guys are really lucky to have this available to you now. The key thing is it's not just Sussex this time. The Intern Placement Programme runs from here to Croydon, and then it goes to Chichester to Newhaven in that triangle. So if you're not actually local, you might find an opportunity nearer to you. What we're asking for you to do is to register on the intern programme, and there's the link up there. You can register for internship alerts. You can actually apply for the internships that are being advertised. You can check out the careers advice that we've got up there. And we also have a number of mentors that have been on intern programs before that are available for you to ask direct questions to. So that's a fantastic resource for you to have access to. I think I've probably gone on for quite a lot now, but I hope you've got an understanding of what I think is really important for the sector. And the key things are, please just don't wait for work to come to you, because these days your qualifications and sitting back aren't going to get you a job. You need to go above and beyond. You need to be demonstrating your interests, your passion, your skills, and you need to be actively looking for work and networking into the sector. I think that's probably about time now, but thanks guys. Make sure you make use of today, listen to the other talks. We've got the Wired Sussex stand and the Intern Placement stand at the back of the hall there, and don't forget that there's CV surgeries and other workshops in the Founders Room and foyer. So enjoy your day, thanks.